Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, most merciful.
Tabbat yadaa Abi Lahabin-wa tabb.
Perish the two hands of Abu Lahab, and perish he.
ما أغنى عنه ماله وما كسب.
Neither his wealth benefited him, nor what he earned.
Abu Lahab's hands will break, and he himself will perish. That which he earned. Abu Lahab was one of the Prophet's uncles and among his most obnoxious enemies. He used to follow the Prophet when he went out to preach and would throw stones at him, so that his feet would at times bleed. He would also loudly interfere, telling those who had gathered, "Do not listen to this man. He is a liar and is irreligious." The occasion for the revelation was a well-known incident when the Prophet climbed the hill of Safa in Mecca and called the Quraysh together. This procedure was only followed when a crisis threatened, especially when an enemy force was approaching Mecca. So the Prophet started warning them of a different kind of peril, the peril of unbelief. The Quraysh were not pleased, and Abu Lahab gave vent to his anger, saying, "May you perish! Was it for this that you had gathered us here?" So this surah was revealed, predicting the defeat and destruction of Abu Lahab. It is reported that a few days after the Battle of Badr, Abu Lahab was stricken by the plague. His household, for fear of infection, threw him into a room. He died alone. No one would touch the corpse until, when it started rotting, laborers were hired who scooped it away and rolled it with sticks into a pit that they dug.
سيصلى نارا ذات لهب.
He will soon enter a fire full of flames.
وامرأته حمالة الحطب.
And his wife as well, the wicked carrier of firewood.
And his wife likewise, who goes about bearing a load of firewood on her head. His wife was like vicious foe of the Prophet. Her chosen weapon was slander. She was also a mean and miserly person. To save a little money, she herself would gather wood for the household fire, even though Abu Lahab was a rich man. The demeaning description in this verse partly refers to this habit of hers. Partly it implies that by her slanders this woman was adding fuel to the fire of opposition lit by her husband. A portion of her load of wood was used to directly annoy the Prophet, for she carried thorn bushes with her fuel, which she would strew in the Prophet's path.
في جيدها حبل من مسد.
Around her neck there is a collar of iron, like a well-twisted rope.
Around her neck there is a rope of palm fiber. She would tie her load with a rope, the loose part of which she would wind around her neck for security. It is reported that she died when the faggots on her head suddenly slipped off, tightening the rope around her neck and strangling her. The rope is also used here symbolically for the yoke which would be around her neck, as a punishment in the hereafter.